Um, my name is Afnan. I am a relationship counselor. I also do motivational videos and I relate like relationship advice with Islam. So that's pretty much what I do on my videos. And yeah.
That sounds amazing. So why are you laughing?
I guess like we were kind of weird, like what's going on? Sorry. People are like, why are you guys laughing? It doesn't make any sense. Because usually obviously you introduce the guest and you start the episode. The
Yeah.
only reason why we're kind of laughing is because we did record yesterday with her originally for like 30 minutes. But just because of, like Wi-Fi issues, it didn't work out the way we wanted to. So now we're just like re-recording the episode. So to get that, it's just meant to let the audience know, so no one feels like kind of
It's like, yo,
like what's
it's like,
going on and
why
stuff.
am I missing a joke here?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so now that people know that this is their second try, inshallah. Anyways, so my first question to Afnan is why did you start TikTok?
Okay, well,
Why did you
honestly,
start
a lot of
TikTok?
people.
Yeah, like just like cause
It sounds like she
yes,
created the
bro.
app, bro.
Well, if you see her videos, she probably did.
Okay. Well, I started TikTok started only like 6 months ago, I think. Not sure exactly when, but I started because a lot of people were saying I'm good at giving advice and I'm good at like relating it to Islam as well. And people wanted to hear that, so I just started recording from there and like I started getting good views and I just kept going.
So I know a lot of your videos you do speak about relationships specifically. So do like, and I know you mentioned you're a relationship counselor. So would you say, is it fair to say that when you're giving advice, it's mainly about relationships and like how to fix a relationship or like how like or what to have in a relationship to make it better?
Okay. Like, wait, rephrase the question.
So my question is like, because you said like a lot of people come to you for advice, right?
Right.
So would you say that like you love giving advice about relationships?
I do love giving advice about relationships. Uh, I like giving advice in general, but yeah, because obviously that is my specialty. So I really like that. And I feel like I'm good at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, honestly, like I've seen especially specifically relationships. I feel like now people like want to like they think that some people think keyword think that they know what they're talking about when it comes to a relationship just because they feel like they have the answers to everything. But relationships now, I think to me specifically, just this is me speaking. I think it's that they're so normalized where one I think people assume that they know what they're getting into relationships, and now I feel everybody wants to be in a relationship, and I always say I said this in the episode that which got cut up. I'll say it again. I basically said that I remember I was saying this to you guys is that I was watching your video and you're talking about relations. How, for example, in Islam, it's actually better off to wait to get into a relationship because there's a lot of I guess luxuries that you're not really aware of that can happen that can I guess make you go crazy in a sense. As opposed to if you wait and you basically you being pure, giving up to your partner who deserves to see you, who deserves to see you that way.
True. You're right. Uh, like what you said is correct completely. And I feel like the thing is people don't know how complex relationships are anyway. And they think that anyone could just give advice, I think, and anyone could just um like I feel like they don't know how hard it is to work on a relationship and people just that like they think it's easy just to like go through another relationship.
Would you say there's a pet peeve about relationships that you have?
Like, is there something that I hate about it? Like
Yeah,
with
like just like the
life?
concept of relationships.
Not really. There's nothing I dislike about relationships. I dislike what people do, like how they deal with relationships, but nothing I dislike about relationships in general.
So what would you say? So what was it? So for everybody listening, Afnan mentioned that she's a relationship counselor, right? So do you want to talk about that and just talk about like the advice? You don't have to talk specific, obviously, information personal, but like, do you want to talk about like certain things that do pop up then that are like general?
a lot of the times, like in general, that pops up is that one person is literally trying to work out the relationship and the other is literally already given up. And that is very complicated and hard because one hand can't clap, right? And like no relationship is going to work without both people working on it, if that makes sense. So when people come to me like that, and I feel really bad, but it's really like, I feel like it's hopeless because no way can you make one, like a relationship work without the second person being involved in trying to make it work. So that's a lot of the times one of like my main problems. When somebody comes, they want to work something out and the other person already given up.
And I think that's the hard. I think Mohammed, bro, I think you can agree on this too, because we had this topic. We spoke about this maybe like the other day about relationships and how we spoke about a lot of time these days people don't value a relationship as like they once did, because a lot of the time it's just like either or. Like this goes for either or party. Like I don't. This is not a shot at like one specific gender, but I feel like sometimes when you go into a relationship, like it's for me specifically, it's unfair for someone to go in a relationship and disregard the other person's feelings or where they are in their terms of state. I feel like a lot of people do take advantage of that because selfishly they feel some way. So just for them to get that happiness, they will do anything in their power just to make themselves happy and disregard the other person, like their significant other's like feelings, which I've realized.
Yeah, that happens a lot because I feel like in human nature we're selfish. That's the thing. We're like humans are selfish.
Agreed. Muhammad, would you agree that humans are selfish or no?
Of course.
I'm asking.
There's a famous book called I think it's called The Selfish Gene. I forgot. I should have brought that up. I should definitely fact check that. But the point is, obviously, humans are selfish to an extent. That's why we aren't good at communication, understanding, and just getting past certain things, whether it's relationship,
Yeah.
parent-child issues, person to work issues, country to country issues as far as politics. Like, obviously, everyone has their own agenda, and it's hard for people to let go and really just compromise and come to a mutual understanding. If we do this, obviously there's less bad things in the world, such as poverty, war, and all these things that we see on a daily basis. But one thing, as far as a question that I have for you, as a relationship counselor, it must be pretty funny at times or pretty annoying when you see like when you're dealing with certain like clients and they're like, oh well, I think I'm doing a good job because like I've been watching this movie or like this TV show, this character does this and that, whatever, and I kind of relate myself to that. And that's how do you feel when people do that, when they like relate themselves to like TV shows or movie characters and they go to that for relationship advice as opposed to like books or people like yourself or people we know?
Well, honestly, I never actually had somebody do that, to be honest. But like, if hypothetically speaking, it did happen, I think that would like I need to like give them a reality check because movies are nothing like real life, and no way can you compare yourself to a movie.
But
in any way?
why do you feel like obviously like you said, no one's ever came up to you and done that before? But as you know, as we all know, like growing up, a lot of your friends and people used to be like, oh, like you'll watch like your favorite TV show or movies, and you kind of see yourself in the character, and you want like your love life or your relationship to be more like this couple and this fairy tale and all that stuff. Why do people relate to that?
Honestly, I feel like first it's wishful thinking. Second off, everybody in this world does think like that. Just they're not dumb enough, if that sounds, to actually say it out loud. To be honest, like they're like, who's gonna say that out loud? Including me, including anyone in this world. It just, you know how you get, for example, in life, the things we don't know, we see people doing it and then we think that's how it's supposed to be. And I feel like movies give a really, really bad understanding of how love should be. But people don't understand that even in movies, some scenarios could be real, but it's always a minority, not the majority. So it's maybe 0.1111% of the people that might go through this or might actually deal with this. Because who's gonna watch a normal, simple life on, like, come on, if you make a movie about real life and how life is for real, who's gonna
Of course.
watch that? How boring is that gonna be?
It's true. Same thing for reality shows, obviously, right? Because if a reality show was a reality show, it'd be the most boring thing in the world because no one wants to see you go use the washroom or cut onions or wait in line at the grocery
Exactly.
store.
Exactly. Or just talking normally to your husband, like, hi, how are you? Okay, you're good, bye. No, they want to see, you know what I mean? They want to see drama. They want to see fights. They want to see problems.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
That's the biggest example. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you think that's real? Like,
Honestly, if you ask the majority of people, they'll probably be like, no, it's real. Kim is going through it. I'm like, bro, it's obviously just fabricated just to make the story much more better.
exactly. Like, come on, nobody has daily drama like that, seriously, or they would need real psychology help. Like, no way would you be like normal living in a dramatic life like that, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
That just
I
not.
agree. And it's
I
funny,
agree.
like, obviously, we said movies and TV shows aside, but one thing we do know, like, using Instagram and all these different apps and different channels and different, like, plugs and different, like, I guess you could say, like, channels and content, a lot of people, even though they might not see themselves in movies or relationships like back then, now a lot of people are seeing themselves in, like, celebrity couples. Like, they fight so hard for celebrity couples but won't even put in the work for themselves. Like, they feel as if they're a part of the couple themselves. So if something happens, like, hey, you should have done this, you didn't treat her right, and all that stuff, whatever. Like, they're talking as
Oh
if they're
my
part of it. It's
God.
the most insane thing
Annoying.
in the world. Like, they don't know who you are. They only know you for as a dollar sign. Why are you telling the other person who's not going to read your comment at all how you should dictate their conversation? You're not even part of that lifestyle. So it's
Yeah,
amazing to see that every single day.
so
What do you
true.
think that happens?
No, I see that so many times and it makes me actually laugh. You know, like, I don't mean to laugh about
It
it,
is
but
funny.
to me it's really fun. Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're still
here.
here. We're still here.
Yeah. No, that makes me like laugh a lot. I see that a lot and I feel like it's really sad, to be honest. Like, and some people even cry and make videos, like fan like videos, and they're so depressed about it. And I still think of you guys together. It shows you how like sad people are, like how much they want to believe in love. To be honest, that's what, like, when I see that, I just feel like it's really sad that they really want to hope or like hold on to the hope of love could be like that, that they're like idolizing people that it's not really like possible that they are like that, or you really don't even know how they are in real life, you know? I feel like
Uh,
it's more of escaping reality.
Escapism, yeah.
Also, just to add on to like Afnan's point, is if you look at the recent like Hollywood drama, like with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, like how everybody was invested in their own relationship. And also to add on to that, I feel everybody who is in a relationship knows how to fix someone else's relationship, but when it comes to yours, you act like you're oblivious. You're like,
Ooh.
no, my relationship is fine.
Uh,
And I'm like,
Sorry, I just wanted to add to that point. I agree with that point, but the thing is, they don't act oblivious. It's just once emotions are
Yeah.
in, it's different than logical. You cannot, like,
mhm.
that's the issue with that part, though. It's not that they're act oblivious. It's more like they can't control their emotions.
That's probably a better way of saying it, to be honest with you. But I've seen that one time specifically. I remember I was in school, and I remember I was like which is like a couple of my friends. His boy is my guy. It's like my friend and his boyfriend and his girlfriend. Like my other friend, his
Mhm.
boyfriend and his girlfriend. And I remember they were like talking about a relation. Like they were talking about someone else's relation. I'm like, yo, because like a lot of the guys come to me subliminally, like not subliminally, like they come to me, but they were like, it's like, yo, man, this is happening, this is happening. I'm like, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm not in a relationship. I cannot give you advice. I can only tell you what I think is right, but I guarantee it's probably not going to help. You need a therapist, buddy. And I remember the girls were talking about like this girl's relationship and what she has to do. I'm like, I have a question. Maybe you guys got to worry about your own and leave this girl out of your like heads. To be honest with you, and they're like, no, it's easier to fix their relationship than ours. I'm like, and I just kind of went silent that way because I think going back to your point about emotions, there's a certain place for me where I know there's a threshold, not threshold, there's like a fine line where I'm not going to cross.
Right.
I remember one time
Yeah, but
I was reading an article. One celebrity, I won't mention her name, she was getting interviewed by a publication. I don't know if it was like Bazaar magazine or Women's Health, and she's very famous. Everyone knows who she is. And the thing is, this celebrity, she's like in her 40s, and she prides herself on not being in a relationship. Beautiful, everyone knows who she is, talented, funny, and everything. But she
uh-huh.
prides herself on not being in a relationship. She's like, well, it's all about me, this, that, whatever. When I feel like I'm ready, I might. She doesn't even have any children. She's never been married or in anything whatsoever, and she's in her 40s. Now, during the interview, she brought up one example. The person asked her, like, how does it feel to be in your 40s, not have any children, this, and that, whatever? Like, do you eventually want to settle down, have kids, have a family, this, and that, whatever? And she's like, well, at this time, it's all about me and what I want and what I need and stuff. And I don't think there's anything out there. I'm not really searching for anything at the same time. I kind of know what I want. And the funny thing is, like, with my friends, what they're going through and their marriages and everything, like, I feel like I'm so invested. I remember one time, one of my good friends, her and her husband was going through a situation, and obviously they're talking about it, doing counseling, this and that, whatever. And then she came to me for advice, and I was like, you know what? Let me step into it. And once I like got more than what I bargained for, her husband came up to me. I don't know if he came up to her or texted her. He's like, hey, like, you're kind of stepping in too much. This is a situation between my wife. Like, I don't, obviously I don't hate you, but this is like, it's between us. And the celebrity told the husband, no, I'm a part of this also. We're all three of us are in this together. Like, I'm a part of the marriage as well. And when I read that, I was so appalled, so like offended, so angry. I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, I want to know what she thinks about it.
That
Like, as a relationship counselor, like, what are your thoughts about a situation like that?
no, that's one of the biggest mistakes. You cannot involve, like, that's also the wife's issue. She involved her friend to that
Yeah.
degree. Nobody should be involved in your relationship to that degree. They could advise
Hmm.
you, and if you take it or leave it, that's up to you. You can help them, give them pointers, but no way can you be invested to the point where you think you're in the
Yeah.
relationship. That's just wrong, and it ruins a lot of things. And a lot of marriages, relationships were ruined because other people were
Hmm.
involved.
It's true. Yeah. You got to know your boundaries, right? Like, obviously, yeah, it's like one thing to get advice from your friends, obviously. But if you want to take a step further, you go see a counselor, like a person like yourself, which they're doing. But the fact that she asked her for
Yeah,
advice, she felt as if, like, oh, let me jump into this and be a part of it. But even though I refuse to find someone else, because maybe it might not be time, I'm not looking for that at the moment. Hey, what? Guess what? I'm a part of this also. I'm a part of this marriage also. And it's like, that was just like the most, that was the funniest thing to me in the world. The fact that
yeah.
they could do that.
You know, also because you mentioned upon that is what like, here's like a big thing for me. So TikTok is obviously one of the biggest platforms right now
Mhm.
to put your name out there and to grow,
Right.
as you obviously you Afnan, right? But the problem is a lot of people do not understand behind the scenes. Relationships aren't always like beautiful colors. Like it can go sometimes bad. It can be ugly. It can be whatever. So a lot like when you're watching like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all these like TikTokers who have relationships, they only show the good side
Right.
because they're
Actually,
not
not
going to show
even
the
the
bad
good
side.
side. They show a fake side that's not available either.
See,
What I think.
that's the word, the fake side. I remember me and my buddy were talking about it the other day. We're like, dude, when you ever watch TikTok, like I'm not sure about you guys, but you can genuinely sense like this person's being fake on camera. There's no way you're
Mhm.
doing this on camera unless someone paid you or you're putting up a show.
Right.
Because when I'm watching like yourself or like there's a person called Adil on like who's from I think Montreal, I believe, and these other Muslim TikTokers or even other TikTokers who are really you could tell based on their tone of their voice. There's one specific guy who I watch, who, like he pops on my For You page. Kudos to him, he has a big following. But I'm like, your content is fake. Like you talking to your girl, you're fake. I'm like, I like even me who I haven't edited videos in so long, I'm just watching like him and the girl argue. I'm like, I can clearly see like this is all staged. And the funny part is these kids are believing these fallacies,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, I want that relationship, and I'm like, that relationship is gonna hurt you. Not it's not gonna make you improve.
I agree with you 100%. And I actually really am against that because I feel like, as you said, people watch this and they idolize it and start expecting a relationship like that, and it's never going to
Mhm.
happen. Because seriously, no relationship is like that. No relationship has a camera 24/7 to their face. and scripting whatever they're doing. And it's very obvious most of these TikTokers like are, come on, the camera would literally be in their face. Like they would literally talk and the camera's right directly in the best position ever to flatter even the way they look. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's, you know what I mean? Oh, it's a hidden camera. Like right to their, like, where did you put that hidden camera though? Like, where did they not be able to see it?
It's true.
And then kids be commenting, FYP, greatest relationship ever.
Wait,
I
what
want to
does
comment back,
FYP
I'm like,
mean? I'm sorry.
hope you,
For you
like,
page.
for like it's
Okay.
For you page. Like basically when someone like comments FYP, it's like they want to see it on their For You page. I'm not like no big TikToker, guys. Don't follow me, but make sure you follow Afnan on TikTok.
One
Because the
question
content
I
is
have for
fucking
both of you guys is
Yeah.
yes.
when you look at, forget relationships, like marriages that's lasted 20 years plus, 30 years plus, 40 years plus. Now, obviously, as marriage in itself is hard. You gotta be with someone. You decide to be with this person for the rest of your life, and obviously that's a beautiful thing. At the same time, you have to adjust to situations that's going to be coming into your life as time goes along. Children, jobs,
Yes.
housing, just relocations, different family events, external family matters, like all these
Yeah.
different things. As a relationship counselor, what I want to ask you is, when you're in a relationship or in a marriage, how important is it to build a foundation in the beginning, like establish what both of you guys want to have a successful marriage or relationship going onwards, as opposed to just joining a marriage or a fresh relationship with both people not knowing what they want and their egos controlling the matter, which causes chaos as time goes along?
Can you rephrase the question?
No problem. Pretty much the question is, why is it important to establish in the beginning of a marriage or relationship what you guys want as far as communication, peace, just like an easygoing relationship? There's no arguments. Like, you guys have systems. If anything happens, whether it's an argument, sadness, depression, like you guys know how to feed off each other, so you guys eventually evolve, as opposed to just being in a relationship for the reason of being in a relationship, and obviously you're just ego driven and you're not really caring or you're not really putting the work to actually know the other person and their traits, and for that matter.
Obviously, that's like a very important aspect, like, of a relationship. It's very important to be like that and to know what you guys want. But that's why usually, like, to make it less complex, the easiest thing, you could talk to somebody that has the same morals as you. And from there, it starts, like, when you have the same morals and same boundaries and same red lines, then at the end of the day, it's going to be pretty hard for you guys to cross each other's boundaries and red lines when they're the same. The biggest issue is that people take each other and they both have completely different morals, completely different red lines, and then each one of them is trying not, like, to cross the other one, and it clashes, you know? Because nobody can be perfect. Nobody's gonna actually sit and be like, okay, let's conduct our rules, and nobody's gonna do that. And even if you do, life literally is going to crash and make you break those, like, things that you created, because life is hard and it's not going to be as simple as, okay, a pen and a paper and we sit and we conduct. So the most thing you can do is make sure that you guys have the same morals and standards in life. And then after that, you could, like, try to conduct, like, a plan, for example. But that plan is always going to go according to life, because nothing in life is black or white.
It's true. I guess it's just colorless. That's a beautiful point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly a beautiful point. Yeah, it makes sense, obviously, right? Like, life, it comes and goes. You don't know how long you're going to live for. You don't even know how long you're going to last for in a relationship, right? So there's always something that's going to throw you guys off. And like you said, if you guys have the same standards and just morality and perspective, obviously you guys will bind closer together, as opposed to just being further separate apart because of ego and just wanting it your way and not conforming to the other person's way. Why is it important to compromise in a relationship?
It's important to compromise because honestly, if you don't compromise, you're never going to make anything work, because there's always going to be things in life that you're going to have to compromise. Like for me, compromising is important, but there is things that you can't compromise. Like there's things in life that you can't compromise. But if it's simple compromising, or not even simple, if it's like, if you guys sit and talk and you guys come to like a conclusion of how you can compromise, then yeah, it's very important to make any relationship work. How can you make something work if you guys are not willing to give up some things that you're not usually okay with? Because nothing is perfect in this world. If you think you're going to find your perfect soulmate that's going to just understand you and everything is going to always be jolly and happy, then you're in for a treat. Because life is hard, yet alone to be with somebody else in your life. Like you living your life alone is hard. Imagine trying to build it with somebody else.
Of course.
And that's why I think the intention of you, I feel like, again, like a lot of people get into relationships, like from what I've seen from my like close group of friends. Muhammad, I think you could say the same thing. Is like I remember we had this conversation like one time we're sitting down, and they were like, I don't want to wait. I was like, I don't. What do you say? Like, I don't want to waste my time with a girl, knowing that I could break up. I'm like, first of all, that means your intentions are wrong, because you should go getting to know this person, and through time. First of all, you never meet someone you love them automatically, because love happens through time. Like you like someone, you like so much things about them, but then the more you spend your time, you get to know them, you ask those questions, you find similar values, and then I feel, for me, from like my understanding, like love goes through time, and then like there's no one else. You have to build that love to get to that point where I can't see with this person. I remember our friend was saying, he's like, nah, man, he's like, I don't, if I don't see something, I'm out. I'm like, you're giving up that quickly? So it just said a lot of people's patience, even patience is like a big thing with relationships, is like having like building the time, like understanding each other. A lot of the times no one has the patience to grow anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's because everything became easy. Finding another person is so much easier than before. People like think it's so easy to be in love with somebody that they think they could replace you in any minute. And that's like
that's
the
why,
biggest problem in our society now.
And it's funny because you said relationships are so easy now, and the first thought that came to my head is Tinder and all these dating apps where you're just swiping right, and it's like at this point, you're not swiping right because of the person, it's because obviously the guy has a 6-point ab, or like not 6-point ab, like six abs, or like the girl
It became like a shopping
attractive.
cart. You know what I mean? Okay, this one's good. Let me try this one. Let me try, and whatever hits. You know what I mean? It just became like that. Seriously, this society became like that. So it doesn't work out with you, on to the next. Even like the thing is, women became so impatient with men, and men became wanting perfection from women. And that's what it is. Men, like, I swear, you could be talking to a man and they will go beyond, as my woman, my wife, has to always look beautiful, has to have a nice body, has to have her nails done, has to have her hair done. And I'm just like, really? Like, that's what's important? And then you would hear the woman say, if he treats me a certain way, I will leave. I will not handle this. And it's just like, from now, like, both of you guys, like, I don't even understand what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, both of you guys are looking for the wrong thing and talking in a wrong way,
And it's like for me, obviously, like for us being Muslim, and we know like the treatment of like both parties in Islam, and obviously the closer you're out to Allah, the better your relationship would be. And I feel a lot of the times people, it's just like I feel like there's a lot of things. Like I'm like I obviously want to hear more from you, because you are the relationship counselor. You've definitely heard a lot of stories. You've seen things, as opposed to just myself and Muhammad. It's been witnessing to like subjective breakups, because you're only hearing one side as opposed to hearing you're hearing both sides. And I feel like my one advice that like actually like I remember one of my friends said like never get into a relationship unless it's committed, and he was right, because when you're young in high school, you don't know what a relationship is. You just see a girl's body and a girl sees a guy's looks. Like there's nothing other than that. You see, like I can't. I don't. Especially if I don't talk to you one time and then you find me attractive. Well, what do I learn? Nothing. I learned legit nothing. And I know a lot of people till this day who are affected by a relationship that they've had, which I guess isn't what they thought it would be. They thought it would be gloomy and not gloomy. They thought it would be beautiful and sunrise, and it affects them till this day because their intentions were wrong. And then like, I can't believe I had myself
Right.
in this situation.
Honestly, like that you bring up that point, this generation also their biggest flaw is that everybody's heartbroken from someone. I swear, everybody is heartbroken from someone. And it's so hard for them to move on that they start bleeding on everybody else. And that's why I always say don't be in a relationship if you didn't, like people say, oh, it's for experience and stuff, but honestly, you could experience through other people.
Yeah.
If you are intelligent in it.
That's tough. That's tough.
No, continue. We're just agreeing with you. We're like, yeah, you're talking like
we're agreeing with you.
No, but like honestly, if people are intelligent enough, they learn from other people's mistakes. A smart person learns from other people's mistakes, and a person that's not very intelligent learns from his own mistakes. My dad used to always say that to me because once you fall in a hole, obviously you're gonna learn. But after you fell in a hole.
Yes.
So that's not you smart. That's just a normal human being. But to be smart is to actually look at that person that fell in the hole and then make sure you never fall in that hole.
I agree. And that's the thing. Like this generation is instant gratification. That's what they're after. And that's what they seek. So to not be in a relationship is to be non-existent, really, at this point. And the funny thing is you're not existing because you're offline. It's not because if you are existing, it has to be online for the world to see constantly on a daily basis. So what I would say to people is, trust me, like you said, there's no need to be in a relationship. As you grow older in life, you will see from other people's mistake, like you said, falling in the hole, and you will realize what to do and what you want out of a person. So you realize that, hey, woman, it's wrong to command perfection from one woman on a daily basis. Why? Because none of us are perfect. We're all flaws. We're human beings, for God's sake. So it's wrong for you to impart perfection on someone. As a woman, it's wrong to impart impatience on you. Why? Because men, we're not perfect either. We need time to grow. So consult with us as opposed to screaming at us. Let us know what our flaw is, as opposed to blasting it online in a subtweet that to find out from your best friend or one of my friends. Like there's so much ways we're able to have better dialogue as opposed to finding it from a third party online, whether it's through a Snapchat or Instagram story and stuff. Like that's just what makes it so sad and horrendous in this generation.
You know also what the biggest problem is? If you look at the word friend, boyfriend, and girlfriend, those words are used loosely these days, because obviously open relationships, there's obviously like friends with benefits, like there's probably stuff I don't even know about. And a lot of the time, like for example, when you're in a relationship, if it's a committed relationship, you really care for someone, when there's a big issue, you don't go to your friends and talk about it. You go back to your girl and say, hey, I don't like how this ended, or you go back to your man, I don't like how this ended off, we got to fix it. Here's the biggest problem that I have with people is these girls will go with their guy best friend and the guy goes to their girl best friend. Well, now you're taking the trust away from your significant other. Now you're getting entertained by someone else, which, by the way, it happens a lot more now. Because I know one thing, when I'm married, inshallah, I don't want my woman going to some other guy talking about her problems. No.
I feel like nobody should be having friends as an opposite gender in general.
But why do you feel people do that though?
Okay, so a lot of the times men and women say that, oh, we are just friends. But the thing from women is they get something that they can't get from women, and the thing with men, they get something that they can't get from men, like men, you know? So when they become friends, each one of them are not friends because they are doing it for selfish reasons. For example, when a man tells a woman, even if she's a friend, that you're beautiful, to be honest, it does count more than when a woman tells her she's beautiful. You know? So you are kind of already using them for something. So the minute you use your friend, okay, for something, if that makes sense, then you're not friends.
I agree.
Even the men.
Yep.
there is even like a lot of people talking about this. Like, if you go to a man and say, "Do you want to do something with me?" No way is any of your male friends gonna say no, which means automatically off the bat that they've been thinking about it. If somebody's thinking about you already in that kind of way, and is able to do that, they are not your friends, because that is also a selfish reason. You can't be like in a relationship with anybody, like friends that they're selfish. Even if it's a girl, if you're a girl and you have a girlfriend, you know, and she's selfish, like, I mean, a normal girlfriend, you can't be friends with her, right? But for, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
And you
no,
know,
continue.
yeah, sorry, go on. No, go on, go on. I was just gonna add on to your point because I'm not sure. Like, there's an app. Everyone listen. I'm on an app called Clubhouse, and I was in a room, and the room was about would would you love the girl to make the first move towards you? And I'm like, yes, there's nothing wrong with that. And I remember every other guy was like, no, awkward. I'm like, okay, clearly you guys are like in a nutshell. This is not like 1700s, bro. This is like 2021. A girl can message you and say, I like you. I don't want to get to know you. Long line of the story, we started talking about can girls and guys be friends. I'm like, first of all, let's break down the word friend, because friends are used loosely. How many, like, for example, from work, you say, oh, those are my work friends, but are they really your friends? And then for example, like a girl if you talk to the opposite gender respectfully, sometimes just out of conversation, you just say, yeah, a friend from work, but they're really not your friend. You're just saying that because you're just trying to like explain the statement, or just like trying to like within the whole narrative of the story. And I remember I told them, I'm like, if I knew a girl who is in a relationship, I as a man know that if I have a girl, I don't want no other guy talking to her. So me respectfully, I'm just gonna distance myself from this girl, because one, her man is gonna find out disrespectful. I'm consistently texting you, and two, it's a invasion of
No, I
privacy.
agree
People
with
have to
you.
understand
That's
that when in a
not, but not
relationship,
everybody thinks like that. People are selfish. Again, we go back to like saying that people are selfish. Even like, by the way, Islamically, it's known that people are selfish. I can't give you the exact ayah, but there is an ayah where it explains how humans are the most selfish people, by the way. Just so you know.
yeah. Well, even I remember, like, I was talking to Muhammad the other day about like, like obviously I'm not a person I want to get married. He talked about the dua, like say the Musa said the same dua for him to get married, and like I think it's like Rabbi
that's it.
if I'm not mistaken. And see, I've been
I guess
memorizing it, bro. I've
somebody
been
wants to
saying it
get
since all day,
married.
yes, like yesterday.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I think inshallah, I want to complete half my deen. But obviously, I'll even talk about myself. If I look back at myself 4 years ago, I wasn't ready, because like a lot of the times you have to work on yourself. Like, for example, if I go to a girl, mashallah, she's living a blessed lifestyle. Her parents have given her everything. I am that guy now that cannot take her to live anything less than that. And people also make it people also make fun of mahar. I'm like, mahar is not a joke, buddy. This is like, I'm like, there was actually another room in Clubhouse, and there was like, would you give your girl $1 million mahar? And I'm like, listen, if I was a multimillionaire, I would give my girl the world, because I believe if she was with me from day one, I was talking to her respectfully. Her parents knew, my parents knew. There's nothing I wouldn't do for this woman, because in the end of the day, she's gonna like you're marrying someone who's gonna be a part of you now. But a lot of the times, these guys just only think about one thing, and just like obviously like fornication, and all they care about is just like, I just want this, and I don't care about the rest. But I'm just like, you don't grow from that. And I can ask you guys a question like this. A lot of times you hear people saying, oh, I left my significant other because the sex is bad, right? But I'm like, it's not because the sex is bad, it's because you never value this person to begin with. Sex does not keep a relationship. It actually ruins it.
Of course, if you're only in it for that reason. But see, okay, the thing is, I kind of understand that part, and I don't understand. But at the end of the day, you remember how it said each person has to find somebody that has the same morals, same red lines. That is a part of, like,
yes,
that's a really important aspect to them. And actually, that part can ruin a marriage. I agree, because some people, it's just very important to them. You're saying that probably because it's not you, like, obviously you don't know. I'm sure by the way you talk that you didn't have experience to do with that yet, right? So I feel like, so even me, I didn't have experience to do with that. It's just the stories I hear, there is some people that it's really important to them. And how can you really tell somebody that that is not important to you? Like, you cannot like make somebody feel a different way about it. So I kind of agree and disagree, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So which I fully agree with you saying. I'm not saying sex is like obviously never did like it's there and it's like part of life. I'm saying that I feel if that's the only thing you value
No,
out of someone,
obviously, if
your
that's the
relationship will
only
never
thing you
grow.
value, of course.
Because so I should have like rephrased my statement. Like for example, I remember like one person was telling me, what was the story? Should have forgot. But basically, what I was trying to say is, for example, like when you meet someone, sex is just a luxury. Similar like, as money is a luxury, anything else materialistic or in that sense, it's just a luxury, just for you to
Right.
have to obviously have fun and enjoy your time. However, sex is not going to solve you and your partner fighting. There's still an issue at hand that you have to talk to. Like, hey, like there's an issue. I dislike that you said this and you didn't do this. Fix it. And a lot of people think that they just go to someone. And this is where the friend part comes in. They go to their best friend and like, you know what? I want to entertain this company now. Well, if you, yeah, bro. And I'm telling. And I remember like me and Muhammad, we've had so many arguments with girls about this, like saying I would never allow my woman to have a guy best friend. And she's like, well, what about you? I'm like, I don't want a girl best friend either, bro. I just want my wife. I want her to be my best friend. I want her to be my friend. I don't care about any other girl because it's first of all disrespectful that you're talking to someone else, and two, and I remember one girl was like, "Nah, you're lying."
Osama got the answers.
I'm not lying. This is how I honestly feel.
I was saying you got the answers. Well, actually, both of you guys have the answers.
Sorry?
But on that part, because I didn't say anything, right? Because I already knew what you're going to say, right? So that's why I said you got the answers.
Mm-hmm.
No,
oh, thanks.
And that's the sad part, that people don't believe when people are good. You know what I mean? It's that society became so corrupt that when you come and say something to people that is supposed to be normal, it's becoming so abnormal that it's just weird to them. Like if a girl comes and says she's like 26 and she didn't have a boyfriend, girls are just like, oh, yeah, right. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, no, that's supposed to be the normal. The abnormal is what we're doing. But it's so, everybody's doing the abnormal that everybody thinks that that's the new normal.
I have a quick question for her.
You know, yeah.
Obviously, we've been talking about the importance of relationships,
ahead,
understanding, and just communication as a whole, and just the overall dynamic of what it takes just to be in one. Now, as we've been seeing recently, these past few years in the social media era, a lot of couples, married or not, are they living their relationship online just to like get attention? Is it about themselves? Are they doing it for themselves, or is it for the relationship? Because you see a lot of relationships, it's like these people are living a full life online, taking pictures, doing videos, all these different things. It's like they're feeding you so much content about who they are, what it takes to be in a relationship. But offline, they're not getting along, they're fighting, like there's discrepancies, there's cheating, there's like back talking. Like, why do you think there's so much couples that's trying to live their life online as a quote unquote couple, as opposed to offline? It's totally different. What's going on?
That's a great question. And honestly, what I feel like, it's because some people get so used to faking something that they actually start believing it. That's for starters. And I feel like also it's an escape from their reality. It makes them, for a second, it's like when somebody steps into Hollywood and they start acting and you become into character. And you feel like you are the character. Like even like actors, what makes them such amazing actors is that they actually take on the character and they start believing it. To like some level, they start believing it while they're acting. So I feel like that might be an escape, and that might actually help their relationship in their head up on like a surface level. Obviously, it doesn't help for real, but for a surface level, yeah, it's helping them. It makes them feel like they're actually good, that everything is okay, and they start kind of lying to themselves. That's what I think.
Beautiful answer. No, I totally agree. Makes sense, right? Like, it's so funny because there's so much smoke and mirrors in today's society, so it's hard to tell who's who. But obviously, if you do your research and your job, you can see the hidden mirrors all around you. And when you see people being sucked up and, like Osama said earlier, just believing this is real, and they're feeding into it, whether it's a celebrity or just a local couple, it's like, no, this is not real. It's not what love is. Love is not love is
Exactly.
not a
Love
Yeah.
30-second clip or a 2-hour video. Like, it's not a vlog.
exactly.
Love is
Love
not a
was
vlog.
for
So like these vlogging style videos, days in the life, people think that's what a relationship is. That's not what married life is.
Hmm.
It's totally more to that. It's
exactly.
more complex than that. And if you think that's what it is, by the time you do get
Yeah,
married,
but
you're
come on.
screwed over.
But come on. Who's going to watch two people paying bills? Or two people,
Not me.
like, you know what I mean? Let's make a video of two people paying bills and talking about how hard, like how. Come on.
It's
I
actually
would
funny.
watch
Could you
it, to
imagine
be
there's a show on
honest, because
that?
at least it's
It's like,
real.
oh, I would watch it. But you know, it goes back to like this whole fabrication of, like for example, when you like think of your
Mhm.
favorite movie, and it's obviously every movie has a relationship. A lot of these actors are already married. So when you're kissing another girl on
Yeah,
scene,
that's a
first of
lie.
all, I hate when actors say it's not me, it's the character. Who's
It's
playing the
not me,
character,
it's the
buddy? It's
character.
you. It's
Like
not like someone else is playing the character. I'm like, it's you. It's
Yeah, we
you.
got it.
And
yeah, sure.
okay, I'm not sure if you guys know the show Power. So I watched like the
Yeah, I
first three
couldn't
seasons.
finish it.
Obviously, it has a lot of like rated R stuff. And I remember one of the actresses. She was Ghost's
I
wife is
figured
best
her
friend.
name.
For everybody that I forget her name, but I remember she was sitting down. She was like, "Yeah, well, like when I'm playing these scenes, it is this person. It's not me." I'm like, first of all, that's cap. That's just for you to what's the word I'm looking for, to almost reassess yourself that your mental health is okay. But it's you. Like when someone goes and watches someone, it's like, oh, it's not that character. That's
Of
that
course.
actress. You're just playing that character. And I find it, I'm like, it's sad. I'm like, it's sad to the point where you're disregarding the fact that people now, and they put these videos up
Right.
on
And that's
other
why
sites, and
even,
now they're up there
and that's
forever.
also,
Sorry, it's
Well,
okay.
someone's gonna pick up. I hope so.
I don't think anyone
Yeah,
picked
they
it up.
picked up. Thank God.
But, but,
anyway,
I feel like that's also why there's a lot of infidelity in Hollywood because of that. It's like you're already acting like you're in love with somebody. You're already kind of halfway there. How much, honestly, harder is it going to be to actually do that with somebody? With being married. It just makes it much easier. It's like you've been
exactly.
practicing all your life to cheat.
There's certain part of the human experiences you cannot hide or escape
Damn.
from. Like that
Of course.
that connection, that physical, intimate, spiritual connection, that human experiences, there's
Exactly.
no way you can fake that. It's not something you'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna put it to the side. Like
And
that embodies you. That comes a part of you. You can't turn it on.
Like exactly. Like I said in the beginning, you know how when you act in a
yeah.
movie, you kind of take on the role. You start believing it. So say and when they do
Hmm.
these movies, it's not like it takes to do it a day or two. It takes like years, right? So you're spending years reacting every day that you're in love with that one character. At what point do you think that it's not possible that you're gonna fall for this character or you're gonna do something that you don't want to do with this character?
Yeah, it's actually really true if you think about it. But I feel like even movies portray a weird way of a relationship. Like it's
I
always
remember
like
honestly when I was
some
younger, I went
some
to my dad when
fallacy.
I was like 15 years old, and I like was telling my dad like this is the kind of marriage I want and whatever. So that day my dad sat me down and he would just like, and that's where I got the odds, and I'll explain it now. He would just we were sitting down and my dad was like, "Let me tell you something." And I'm like, "Baba, but it's based on a true story. Like it is real, so don't tell me it's fake." He's like, "Let me tell you something. It does happen in real life. These things might happen, but it's literally a 1% chance, less than 1%, like 0.1." He's like, people are always going to show you the
Hmm.
odds. They're never going to show you a real relationship because you're not going to watch a real relationship. It's boring. It's literally boring. What are you going to see about it? So he's like, odds that you're going to find a relationship like that are 0 to nothing. You're not ever going to find a relationship like that because that's not
Yeah.
reality. That's literally just to make people watch and be entertained. Like, do you think in your life you're gonna want to entertain people? No, you're gonna want a basic life. It's not a show. It's not a movie. So yeah.
And I think reality is that people value like, I think someone said it before, like they'll value these celebrities' relationships more than they do theirs, or they'll value a relationship which, as you said, is only the 1%, but they don't look at reality and say, okay, well, an actual relationship is not working.
Not at all.
Right.
But you know what? I also want to say one thing which popped up. You guys said it in the past, like just like before, and the idea kind of came out to my head. And I know, but like I'm not sure if we're short on time, but I guess we can end it off there and like we hear each other's opinions. But the one thing that irritates me a lot of the times, for example, is when someone goes to marry someone. It's like, oh, I want my girl to be pure, right?
Right.
And in my head, I'm like, first of all, I don't think. Yeah, you want to speak on that?
Like, no, I kind of just continue, and then maybe I could like give my 2 cents.
Okay, cool. So sounds good. So I was basically gonna say, like, a lot of the times when you go marry someone, like the first thing is like, oh, I hope my girl's pure. Like you never hear. I don't think a lot of guys. I think a lot of girls are more. I think we're more accepting if the guy has a past, and then as long as he's repented, he's a good boy. Like they just forget about that. But a lot of guys that I've spoken to, they're almost to the point where like, oh well, it's like the girl can't make any mistakes. I'm like, okay, the girl can make mistakes, and I'm in the believer that first of all, Islamically, as long as you made tawbah, Allah has forgiven you. The second point, I wasn't in your life before you met me, so anything you did is you. I don't, and also Islamically, you don't have to tell me what you did, so I don't even have to know. And I feel a lot of the times that is the biggest hypocrisy ever. I'm like, if you did something as well, do not expect. This is for both parties. Do not expect that your other person can't do nothing as well. Because
wow,
for one point, I wasn't living without you to begin with.
I'm surprised to hear this from a guy. Like I don't even know what to say anymore.
It's real.
Yeah, this is wow. This is precious. Protect him at all costs, girls.
It just
seriously.
It's real.
It's just true because I feel it's unfair. Like if a girl comes to me and says, "Oh," first of all, if a girl comes to me, I'll say, "Oh, like I did this." First of all, my thing is anything you did before you met Usama is anything you did before you met me. And same goes with me. Why should I judge? If Allah has learned to forgive you, why am I to be the guy who says, "Nah, you did this, you did that"?
Of course.
But then Allah can start exposing my sins.
If people exposes all of us, if we walk around with a list of the sins that we did, none of us would be able to look at each other the same. Seriously.
Amazing.
Exactly.
It'll be a bunch
Seriously,
of people.
because all of us,
it'll be a bunch of people with their heads like looking
sin.
down.
You know, even us, we sin and we forget. I feel like if we had a list, like even us, we would be embarrassed of ourselves by seeing how much we sinned, you know? So that's why, like, at the end of the day, you actually have no power over someone's past. It's none of your business. And if their past, like, makes you feel some type of way, then you should be with somebody that literally was like an angel, which you would never find. You would never find.
I agree. Amazing points, everything you said. And that's why we want to thank you so much for coming on today's episode. Finally, that we're able to record it and everything went well. MashaAllah, that's amazing.
Alhamdulillah, I want to say that this one was so strong. It was a lot better than last one.
Honestly, thank you guys for having me on, and I love your mentality. You guys like actually killed it, and I hope like more men are like you guys. To be honest,
thank you.
It was a pleasure speaking to you too.
Oh, we appreciate it. It was our honor to have you on.
TikTok,
we appreciate
Instagram,
it, guys. Make sure. Where can they follow
my name
you?
on TikTok. Sorry, continue.
Do you want to say your IG handle? No, so do you want to say your handle?
Did I say my name? I'm confused. Okay.
Yeah, to say your name, your handle. So we'll put it in the description. But yeah,
on TikTok, and then Afnan_DEE on Instagram. And don't ask me what's different names.
We'll keep that secretive. For everybody listening, thank you for listening so far. Afnan, we thank you for coming on again. We appreciate it, guys. Make sure to follow her. Go to her account. Go check out her content. Mashallah, it's amazing.
Thank you so
Definitely get
much.
inspired by a lot of her content.
Have a nice day.
You too.
And yeah, guys, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Peace, everybody.
Beautiful episode.
Amazing episode. And you know one thing, alhamdulillah, guys, if you're listening to this far, that better, because we spoke about a lot. And
maybe
we
this
never,
is the first
I don't think we've
or
ever made a
second.
podcast about relationships.
We had
to be
like
honest with you. And
something episodes in.
this is the maybe we made some in the beginning. I think we made some in the beginning, like with them not being out. But this is the first one that we obviously like that they're gonna hear. Mashallah, Afnan, you dropped some amazing knowledge and a lot of the stuff. Like you're listening, you want to bug her because she's a relationship counselor. She definitely hears a lot of stories where. Oh,
thank you so much for listening to another episode of Ways.
Again,
make sure to follow, like, comment, share, and subscribe at Ways 2.0 on Instagram. Follow Osama at Kusa300. Follow myself, Muhammad.global. New episode every Wednesday. Listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, various platforms. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Peace.